Hello and welcome back to Hollowponds Solo Sagas, and today we are continuing with our third episode of the new game by Freely Publishing, The Electric State. Well, it's newish. It released in 2024, which is the year I'm recording this, so in my timeline it's new. So where did we leave our adventurers? I'll do that bit and then I'll say thank you to you subscribers who have returned. Thank you very much. I would open up this episode. So I'm conceptually approaching The Electric State like a 1990s TV series. The ilk of the A-Team or something, but something which was a bit more serial and less a single episode, like episodic. So the A-Team would be, we would enter the episode and leave the episode with not much changing in between. The one difference with this is we have that progression we move across. So I guess Battlestar was close to that as they were progressing forwards, but not majorly because that wasn't the era of the day. Maybe this is more Dallas. So we are going to have that arc, which is our journey, but we're going to approach it in a TV way. So our episode will open in the bar where we left Kurt, Don and Molly confronting some gang members who had come into, so it's a basement bar, it's a basement jazz bar. Kurt has just been told that he can get a gig there. Chances are he would get, a percentage of the bar tab. So a percentage of the amount of money that was spent on beer would be his pay for that gig. And so as they're down there chatting to the owner, who Kurt knows from the past, the 6 gang members, I mean, I could describe them, but you see them as gang members from the film The Warriors. And so they would have torn off denim jackets, t-shirts, melee weapons, baseball bats, that sort of ilk. They've pushed some chairs around, smashed some glasses, gone up to the barman to demand some money, protection money. Kurt has stepped in, and this is last episode. So this is our flashback. Kurt has stepped in to try and defuse the situation. Got a baseball bat to the stomach, is killed over as Don has stood up and pushed the chair to the side, and that's where our episode ended. And now we've come up and we've come into the episode where we would see Molly looking panicked because her flaw is when she is frightened, when she's threatened she runs, but Don reacts with violence. So Don is going to stride in to take on these gang members, and this is how our episode will open, and the gang members fighting. There were 6 gang members in there, and I'll give them a smattering of weapons. But before we get into the action, can I thank you subscribers for returning. If you are not yet a subscriber, can I actively encourage you to hit the little subscribe button and make the little thing go thingy, confetti. You can even go to the little notification and make it go to the filled in bell, so as you know when I release new videos, I release the new ones, and it's not just sort of Electric State or Cyberpunk I'm playing at the moment. There's all sorts of ones, and I have many more to come in the future as my shelves and hard drives are full of games. Thank you very much to the members of the Adventurers Guild, those who are still with us and those who have left. Thank you all. If you would like to support in any way, Old Desert Girl has recently given a super thanks. Thank you very much, it's much appreciated. Or you can also give a coffee thank you. And that's about it really, that's the spiel. You can support me to make more of these by just watching or by giving those things. There'll be various other things coming in the future as well. The members of the Adventurers Guild are getting some special videos that they only get to see, and I'll be filming some additional material, particularly over the break, over the holiday break, where I have more free time at the moment. And that's about it for that. So, straight into our little Barney with Don, Kurt, and the gang members. Kurt will probably get involved, Don will get involved, and Molly probably won't want to, and she might shirk off. Now Molly does know there's a gun in the car, so if things starts to turn, Molly might try and run and go and get a gun from the car. So initiative in the Electric State is very simple. Basically, you win initiative if you instigate combat. If you don't know who really is the instigator, then what you can do is you can roll a d6 and add wits in a comparison. Keep rolling until one is a winner, one is a loser. The winner is the one who goes first. It's as simple as that, and then you just switch sides either way. The combat works in I attack. You can choose whether just to take the attack or defend yourself. If you choose to defend yourself, it becomes an opposed roll, but you lose your next action within this turn. If you've already acted in this turn, then you lose your next action from next turn. Or you can do what's called stand tall and you just take the hit. That's basically how it goes. So Don is going to be our instigator here. Now, these people came in with bats, and we can say possibly, I don't know if they've got chains, but that seems really of the era. Our Don fought in the war. Don is an ex-veteran. So I think Don would be more used to grabbing something and using it as a weapon than just going in with his fists, most likely. So we could say that Don's drinking from a bottle at the moment, so I think that would be his first port of call, and then he might go and try and take a bat off of the person with a bat. So let's say that of the gangers, two of them have got baseball bats, one's got a chain, which we're just going to call the same as a baseball bat, and the other three are unarmed, but they might have knives, so they as an action can draw their knife. So we have 6 of the gangers. Don is going to charge in to the first ganger, who is the white ganger. I'm going to keep calling them gangers anyway, because it's sort of, it'll boost the gang, because he's the one who struck Don with the baseball bat. They're sort of spread out amongst the bar. They will all count as being in short range, but there's tables and there's chairs getting in their way, so they will have to move into close range to get to Don. Don is going to move into close range with the baseball bat guy, and Don is going to try and use his bottle as an improvised club to take out the gang member and put him down. Each of the gang members has the talent called Knife Man. Now, out of interest, Knife Man is not listed in the talents, but there is one called Blade Fighter. So I'm going to assume Knife Man is the equivalent of Blade Fighter, which basically is a +2 if you're using a knife, an edged weapon. Though none of these at the moment are using edged weapons. Gang member 5 and 6 will probably draw their knives. So our Don is going to stride in with his bottle. Don has 5 dice for strength, and an improvised club gives 1 dice for the improvised club, which will be the bottle. So that's how it works. Damage, a 1 on here if pushed means that the bottle will take damage. A 1 on here if pushed means that he will take hope. So Don is striding in with the bottle, screaming and looking terrifying with anger. He gets no hits, 1 of those. So he is going to push. As you can hear outside, just like the other day when I was recording Cyberpunk this week, there is lots going on outside. I do apologise. There's not a lot I can do unless someone wants to buy me a recording studio. I'm not a professional voice artist. I'm not a professional actor. Thus, I do not have a recording studio at home. Most of the people that you watch who do professional voices and are professional actors, they have recording studios at home because it's part of their job. They need it. I don't have that. I've got a kitchen. Okay, so he takes 1 hope because of the 1 that he'd already rolled and gets no hits. Don has already got only 3 hope, so his hope drops to 2. He strides in with the bottle, attempts to hit one of the gang members, makes a real bad hit, and the gang member just laughs. He is going to have several gang members go against him. We will say that Kurt is going to attempt to hit the gang member who struck him. Kurt doesn't have a weapon, but we could say Kurt grabs a bottle and attempts to use it, but that doesn't really come across to me as a sort of Kurt thing to do. Kurt is going to try and punch the guy. So if he's now against Don, Kurt is going to turn to gang member 2 and engage gang member 2. And then we've got the 2 with chains, but we also have the barman. The barman might get involved as well. Sounds like a chainsaw outside, quite interesting. Anyway, Kurt, he's only got a strength of 2. He will also use his bottle that he was drinking from. He is going to attempt to hit the gang member who he's fighting up against. I got 1 hit, so who's going to just keep the 1 hit? The gang member will take that hit. What's that? It's improvised club, 1 damage. So the gang member takes a hit across the back of his head. We'll say the barman, who will be on the side of Kurt and Don. The barman is going to engage one of the gang members who's got a club. We'll call him gang member 3. So the barman has a strength of 3. I've used the cultist from the book because I couldn't really find NPCs in a short period of time. He will grab a baseball bat from behind the bar and he is going to engage that guy. So he jumps over the bar and smacks that bloke, doing no hits whatsoever. But if he pushes it, that baseball bat is going to split. But he might get a hit on him. So he's actually going, no, he can't, he's an NPC, he can't push anyway. That's quite cool. So what the baseball bat has a +2. Because of those 2 1s, what would happen is as he would hit the baseball bat across the guy's head, it would split in half, which I quite like cinemagraphically. So we are going to roll it. He gets no hits, but he takes 1 point of damage as the baseball bat across the guy's head splits, fractures, and we can see that splinters go into the... because everything's falling apart, there we go. Because everything's falling apart, the baseball bat was old and was taped up. And as he strikes it across the bloke's back, it just fractures into pieces. And we can see that a sliver of the wood from the baseball bat has pierced the hand of the barman, or the owner rather, diminishing his position. We will then have, someone is going to go, Molly. So someone will go to grab Molly. Molly isn't going to act yet because Molly is going to attempt to just dodge out the way and go hide. So the guy who's fighting against Kurt is going to try and whack, no, who's fighting against Don, is going to try and whack Don with his baseball bat, getting 1 hit. Don takes a baseball bat across the back. The guy fighting Kurt is going to retaliate against Kurt, getting no hits. The guy with the chain, which we will call the same as a knife, he is going to get, so that's for the knife, that's for Knifeman, that's for his strength. He's going to attempt to hit the owner, getting a hit on the owner, taking the owner down to 2 points. Then we have 2 of them. The 2 with knives draw their knives. The other one with the chain is going to go and try and grab Molly. Molly is going to try and avoid them. This is the equivalent of chain, so we'll do this. And if we won't say, yeah, so he's going to try and grab Molly, getting 1 hit on trying to go for Molly. Molly is going to use, I think it's an agility. Let's just check. So it's 1 hit. Molly is going to try and defend herself. She is going to say she's going to use her agility to defend herself, so she won't hurt the bloke if she's protecting herself, but she's going to dodge out of the way and attempt to move under some tables and across to the other side. She gets 2 hits, which means that the guy swings his chain and tries to grab her. She ducks under a stool, ducks under a table, comes up at the far side of the bar near the door, and he's basically away and has opened up the distance between them. So that's them. That was Molly. So that's then the turn. So we're back to the top of the turn. Don is getting really angry now. Don is going to attempt to grab the gang member. So Don has his 5 for his strength. We can say the bottle got used. He will grab a chair, improvised club, and attempt to smash it across this gang member. Improvised club normally has a damage of 1. We're going to call this a damage of 2 because it's a big chair. And he's going to try and smash the gang member. He gets 1 hit and he's going to push all of these. He gets 3 hits. Yep, so we've got 1 which does the 2 points, and then we've got 3, 4 points of damage. So that completely knocks that gang member out. He charges in, screaming, smashes this chair straight across the gang member's face. The chair explodes into parts, even though we didn't roll that bit. And the gang member goes down on the ground, where Kurt, we will give him, because of all of the 6s, the opportunity to then pick up the baseball bat in retaliation. We're now at Kurt. Kurt is not great. Kurt has got his 2 strength. He used the bottle, that didn't really help, but we'll say he's still got his bottle. He gets no hits, he will not push that. We have the barman. The barman is not looking very good. The barman has a 3 and his baseball bat broke. The barman is fighting a guy with the chain. The guy with the chain is going to try and grab, the chain off the guy. Nothing. We then have Molly at the far side. Molly's hiding behind one of the chairs. We won't have Molly run off and go and get the gun yet. So then we're flipping over to the gang members. That gang member's down. One of the gang member, the 2 gang members with knives will have already pulled their knives, and they are going to go over and have a go at Don. But we'll go at the top. So we've got the one fighting Kurt with the baseball bat. He is going to attempt to hit Kurt. Well, how much is baseball? It's 2. He gets no hits on Kurt, which is lucky for Kurt. Then we've got the one with the chain, which we will call, what do we call the chain? Same as a knife, that was it. Who is fighting against the barman. He gets 1 hit, which is 2 points on the barman. The barman goes down, unconscious. So that's him. And we've got the one who's going to run across. So the one runs across and tries to grab Molly. That's one with the chain, which is improvised club. So he tries to grab Molly, getting no hits. So the barman's gone down. So that one done the barman. That one it's gone for Molly. Now we've got 2 who are going for Kurt. They've drawn knives, so they get this. So 1 goes against Kurt, getting 1 hit. No, not against Kurt, sorry, against Don. Getting 1 hit. Knife does 2 points damage, putting Don down to 2 points. And the other one goes against Don. Getting 3 hits. All right, that is going to do Don some serious damage unless Don can defend himself. So Don is going to attempt to defend himself. So 3 hits. Don gets 5 to defend himself. He doesn't have the chair because we said the chair splintered, but we can say he's got the stubbly bits of the chair, which is an improvised club, which means he gets 1 dice for that. He's got to try and defend himself against 3 hits, which is 2. But if he does that, then he'll take 1 hope, and that's not great. So 2 is good enough. A knife does 2 damage, but that would put Don unconscious, but it wouldn't absolutely stab Don to death. So Don is subdued. Let's say Don becomes subdued. So Don goes down at that bit, and then so Don potentially takes a critical injury. Let's see what. I think that's what it would be. All right, so Don goes down, which means Don needs to start making death saves. How that works is you need to make 3 death saves on your turn. If you roll, so for every hit, you get a tick. Once you've got 3 ticks, you are stabilized. If you fail 3 times, you die. It's gone down from a stab wound, which is that one there. Then we've got the barman has gone down. Molly is dodging around. So we have 4 gang members. 1 is unconscious. 1 is badly injured. Now let's do, are our people going to give in and see what they want? So let's do a tilt and see what happens on the tilt. Black He's bad for the travellers. 4 is low. So I don't think the gang members are going to let them give in at this point. The gang members are going to still keep pushing, which means they're going to go for Kurt and Molly at this point. They're angry and they're going to go for Kurt and Molly. So we'll have the one who is fighting against Kurt is going to go for Kurt. And then one will try and grab Molly and we'll see what happens. So Kurt has got 1 hit against him. He is going to take that. Where's Kurt? Which does 2 points of damage on him. Puts him down to 1 hit point. And then one is going to, which is the same stuff, he's going to try and go and grab Molly. Doing 1 hit. Molly is going to, so Molly used up her last action in defending herself. That's this action. So Molly will be using up the next action to defend herself as well, as Molly tries to dodge again. And what was that? That's 2. Okay, only defending against 1. So Molly is grabbed by this bloke. So we've got Kurt is on 1 hit point. Molly has now been grabbed. Don is down. Is this where they give up? 10. So what happens if this comes up with a face card is a special sort of thing happens. So that is good for the travellers and very good because it's a high number. So that means that the traveller, so the gang members, the gang leader kicks Don and says, "Are you lot going to give up then? Are you going to stop playing us around?" Let's make Don make a death save. Nope, as Don lays there bleeding. Kurt will go and try and stabilise Don. Or Kurt is going to make an empathy roll to see if they will let him go and stabilise him. Alright, we're going to be kind and say that the waitress has the first aid, has the medic talent and has first aid training, and grabs a first aid kit from behind the bar and is going to try and stabilise Don. She has 3 dice for her wits and then 3 dice for the first aid kit. She gets 1 hit, 2 hits, so she stabilises Don. He will heal 1 health per shift, as long as he's not doing anything physical, or with the nurse talent increase, with someone with the nurse talent, 2 points per shift. She doesn't have the nurse talent, she just has the medic talent, which means that she is able to stabilise him. We have Kurt. Molly is grabbed by one of the people who drags her over. One of the gang members we're going to call as out of action. He's groggy and sitting at the corner, and they're going to be going over. So he'll sit at the back of the bar, and they'll go look at him. And then we've got Kurt is injured, so he will need to be healed. Molly is slightly injured, and Don is injured, but he's stabilised. So we're going to put Don on 1 hit point and say Don's come back around, but Don's looking badly damaged and he's bandaged up. And we have some of the gang members have been bandaged up by the waitress as well, and the owner is unconscious as well. So the owner is out but alive. One of the gang members is out but alive, and we have 5 gang members remaining. Now, let's do another tilt, and we will say, because what I'm thinking is, this is what I'm thinking is that in the classic of these type of TV series bits, is if they are held in this bar overnight, and then we can try and get Kurt to talk his way out. If Kurt fails any of these rolls, this might be the end of the story, the end of the journey for them. Then they leave in the morning with the dawn, go pick up the surfboard and continue on their way. That's how I would like this to go. That's how I've envisaged this. Let's see what happens. The leader of the gang will reach over the bar, grab a bottle, pop the lid off of it, looking all sweaty and tired, and say to Don, who is looking groggy, "What did you have to do that for? What did you need to do that for? We just wanted what's due to us. We wanted the money that we are owed, and then we were going to go. What did you do that for?" Now, Don can attempt to reply. Don is going to make an empathy roll to see if he is just going to get angry. or he can keep himself. Okay, so he's going to start to shout and say he didn't fight in the war to be pushed around by a bunch of punks. He didn't see people die in a country that he loved to have people like them cause problems for him. Let's see if they get angry like that. Actually, let's do this. Let's do a tilt. Maybe one of these gang members also fought in the war. Oh, okay. So that's good for them. So that's good for the travellers, which means that maybe one of these gang members did fight. So let's say these two are vets. So two of them are veterans, which is good for them. Now we've got Hearts, a traveller event. Hearts is a traveller event, page 219. And then we're going to actually generate the leader, the NPCs for the leader. After we've done the traveller event, we'll generate the leader's psychological makeup. Traveller event, since you picked one of the tracks, so Don, this is Don. Don is our primary for this event at this stop. So we roll a d6, a 4. A conversation occurs that increases tension between travellers of your choice. Okay, so conversations. People talk, we communicate in a group game or talk, players, the GM. In a solo game that isn't possible, you also talk to NPCs in the game. We cannot hope to replicate the details of any given conversation that goes on between imagined characters in a single mind. Instead, you're best off with just the subject of the conversation and the outcome. Okay, if a conversation doesn't rules away from the game, triggered by a diamond face card. Well, this was actually a hearts face card because it's a travel event. So we are going to roll a d6, although it's got personal background because I think Kurt will pipe up at this point because his sister fought in the war and his sister died. So we've got 2, an emotional state. That'll do. So we're going to increase tension between Don and Kurt as Don, Kurt, and these 2 ex-veterans are going to get into a talk, and then maybe so what we're going to do, actually, I think I'm going to create a scale, a 5-point scale. We've got at one end, let go, and we've got the other end, killed. We are at the moment in a 50-50 position on either side of this scale in the middle. If we fail a lot, if we fail 1, 2, and then off the end, we're done for, end of story, or at least one of the travellers is. If we succeed, 1, 2, 3, we are then let go. So that gives us, I'll show you this bit here. So that then gives us our rule of 3s, I always go on about, 3 things, 1, 2, and then we're off, we're dead, or 1, 2, and we're off, we're alive. And we can go either way across here whilst having this stop, this encounter, and then we'll come off either end, and then at that point we're either don't worry about it, or we go pick up the surfboard and then we go on our merry way, continuing on the journey. So our conversation is between Don and Kurt. We have Don feels let down by Kurt with the surfboard. Kurt doesn't like Don because Kurt's sister died. So what we need to work out from this conversation, this emotional state that triggers off between 2 of the veterans, and I think this is going to move us towards let go depending on who wins. If Kurt wins this, then Don is going to feel let down even further by Kurt, and the gang members are going to dislike these people. If Don wins this, then Kurt is going to feel more annoyed with Don, but the gang members are going to like him a bit more and let him go. Don has a good empathy. Kurt has a good empathy. Don does not. Molly likes Kurt. Molly likes Don, and so Molly might step up and help Don in this conversation. This is the role for Kurt. Kurt gets 2 hits. I'm going to give, so Kurt gets 2 hits, write it down so I don't forget, because I always forget how many hits people get. Don gets 3, but I'm going to give Don an additional 2 because the gang members are on his side in this conversation. He gets no hits, and that so Kurt wins that. The tension, Don feels even more let down. We are moving one closer towards the gang members getting annoyed with us and getting rid of us. But the gang members are engaging in conversation because we rolled the hearts, because we pulled hearts out. So the gang members are willing to listen to us. Kurt has shown his dominance and Don is just feeling a bit let down. So Don now has a tension of 2. Oh, they should have got 1 dice each additional because of the tension between them. I forgot about that. So what you do is if a conversation goes between 2 people with tension, you add their tension between them. So the gang members are getting a bit annoyed. The gang leader, let's quickly do the gang leaders. The gang leader's personality and state, so we can work out how the gang leaders. So we've got, pull a card for the personality type. 3, visionary. Okay, so he can see a better world for everybody who is living here. This type of person has ideals about the future and wants to see it through it right, so they can play off of that. Emotional state. A 3, obsessed. He's obsessed with, he doesn't like this bar, and he's obsessed with the fact that they make money and they need money in the area. What's his motivation? Spades, trauma, okay. So he is also a veteran but hasn't let them know about it. So he is siding with Don. And finally, method. Those who want must have a way of okay, method. And with okay, clubs, power. So he uses power, but we've also got a face card come out, which is a club's face card, which is a countdown event. All right, so that means the countdown event means that the, hold on, stop countdown event. Stop threat countdown. So the event progresses. So we are going to roll a D66 and see how this progresses. 61. It doesn't, the table on page 213 doesn't go up. It says roll a D66. It goes from 11 to 56. I think 54 and above has been missed. Now, I checked the PDF just then. That's why it was a weird cut. I checked the PDF and the rest of this table's not in the PDF either. So I will call that the end of the table, which it says a deal is offered. Although it does say refer to page 125. And on page 125, where it describes various different countdown events, we have missing item, something goes missing, who took it, a location is seized, tactics change, loyalty shift, and alliance is formed. The PCs have chance to make a new ally or formerly opposed groups join forces. This is 61, so it's probably either loyalty shift or an alliance is formed. So if we say loyalty shift, let's say that if you loyalty shift because of this, then I am going to rectify that and I'm going to move this to here, and I'm going to say that Don is going to have a +2 with the gang members because of being a veteran. So because he's a veteran, and we've got some of these gang members are veterans, we've got the visionary and obsessed person who has trauma from being a veteran and power, so that's the gang leader. They are veteran, and we've got 2 of the gang members are veterans as well. And so we are going to say that Don has a +2 when interacting with them because of that card, because of this card. Right, so moving on. Kurt has now really annoyed Don. Don and Molly, so Don is our primary in this. So Don, who's had a go about that. All right, so Don's gonna say, well, what is it you want? What is it that you want from us? What is it that you want from this place? The gang member, the gang leader will then describe, so he's got visionary and obsessed, so the gang leader is going to describe to them about the area and how the Neurocasters have caused the people to give up on the area and everything is falling apart. Nobody has jobs, nobody has money, and they need food and medicine, and this is a way to get it. So what would Don do based on that? We would got those bits there. So what can they do? What could Don do? There's money in the bar. They might just, so this is, time is ticking on as this happens. So they have this conversation and then the gang members are going, so we want the clock to keep ticking because the clock ticking means that dawn comes along and then we get our people to leave and it's a nice ending to it. Now, would they get annoyed with them? Is our gang member, is our gang leader going to start getting annoyed because all he wants is money? So he could just take the stuff from the till. So let's do a till. If it's good, then there's money in the till and they can just take it. If it's bad, then there's the safe. The money's in the safe, but of course the bar owner is unconscious. Oh, okay, so we've got an ace. Does that count as a face card? It does. So we have diamond, so it's very, so heart, so it's very, that's extremely good. So let's say that the money is in the safe, but the safe is open. Now, what is hearts? Hearts is another traveller event. All right, so hearts is another traveller event. The ace counts as a face card. The money is there, so there's lots of takings in here. This is going to be, the gang member is going to say, do you see what I mean? Do you see how much this person has, how much he has, how much this bar makes? There's, all it is it's just feeding more drugs to our people. It's feeding more stuff. This doesn't help us. And he's some kind of Puritan, obviously. We can then have a traveller event. 6, a traveller wanders off. Do the remaining travellers search for them? Maybe because Molly's feeling stressed, Molly has disappeared. So if things go bad, Molly will come back with a gun. So Molly has left for now. Molly has left the scene. They've all sort of do the remaining travellers search for them. So Molly has gone missing at this point. At this point in the scene, Molly's gone missing. It's just Don and Kurt. So whatever happens, Molly isn't there. Just Don and Kurt are there. Does that really impact anything that's going on? Maybe not. Maybe what we'll do is she's gone missing. We'll send the 2 non-veterans to leave and they're going to go look for her, but we've just sent them away to minimise the number of people who are in this room, to make it easier for the writers to write the conversations and to then resolve this in a timely fashion, because we are basically 2 steps away from them ending up letting us go. They've got money, so they're happy, so they're moving towards rather letting us go than anything else. Don, who is our primary in this, Don will say, so Don who always reacts with violence, Kurt let Don down, so we've got, so that his hope's down, so his hope is going to have to come back, which can be dealt with by resolving the conversation between him and Kurt, but we can do that mid-journey next session. So Don is going to attempt to convince the gang leader, so Don will stand up, move over, so let's say enough time has moved that it's a good few hours have gone, the people haven't come back, everyone's healed another hit point. So Don and Kurt are both now on 2 hit points. The bar owner comes around and the bar owner is going to start to complain about the money going, and Don is going to attempt to say to the gang leader, is that it? Can we now go? See if he's had enough, and then we might give Kurt a chance to do a compassionate speech using his talent Charmer, and see if Kurt can have the final words and get them out of it. And then Kurt wouldn't get to do his performance because it would be the morning. The bar is shut. Maybe the police turn up, and maybe that's what Don's going to do. Don is going to say, so Don gets his 3. He gets +2 because of the gang leader, because of stuff with the gang. But he's also going to say it's getting late now. The bar hasn't opened. The police will turn up, and he's going to try and convince the gang member, the gang leaders, to go, which will be 1 minute closer. He gets 2 hits. 2 hits is enough that we will say that he has moved it down to the end of being let go, and they are 2 of the gang members already left. They didn't come back. Molly's out of the car hiding. The guy who was knocked unconscious would be looking better. The veterans are all talking to the gang leader and say, look, they've got like a bag, like a small carry-all, like the standard little bowling bag that normally carries loads of money in these sort of things. And he's looking very much like it's time for us to go. As Don steps forward and he's saying, look, you can take that money and use it for whatever you need to use it for, if that's what you're saying you need. We all fought for this country. I don't know why we need to tear the country apart now. Everything is falling apart and nothing is what it was. We all got damaged. We all took pain and we all took damage away from the war. And it's been years since then. We have to move forwards and go back to the way we were before. We have to move forwards and allow ourselves to heal. All I wanted to do was go surfing. That was it. That's why we're doing this. I wanted to leave it all behind, but instead I got into another fight and I hurt people again, and I got hurt again. Isn't it time we gave this up? That's his dice roll. And at that point, Kurt is then going to attempt to step forward. Oh, let's have Kurt. Let's end this. If Kurt can do this, unless he fails, we might not let him roll. Oh no, we will. We'll let him roll a push. Kurt is going to attempt to basically do a spoken word poem and get him out of this. So Kurt has an empathy of 6. He has charmer, which gives him +2. But we said that Don had a +2 with the gang. We're going to take 2 away from Kurt because the gang doesn't particularly like him, and we're going to give Kurt a chance to put on a show to hide his fears, because he has a flaw, put on a show to hide his fears. So he's scared, so he is going to attempt to step forward. His dog's in the car. Maybe Molly's looking after Rocket, the dog that's in the car. He will attempt to he's also got $100 that we might lose to this. He is going to attempt to do an impassioned, he's going to attempt to tell a poem, an empathetic poem about losing his sister. Oh, here we go. We might give him those 2 back. He's going to do a poem about losing his sister to the war, about the way he desperately feels now. This might help with Don as well. The way he desperately feels now, and the way that the only thing that he has left is the dog, and the pain and the hole from missing his sister. He gets 1 hit. Now, if we push this, he will lose 2 hope. And we are going to push this and get him. He's got 6 hope. He's going to lose 2 hope because he will, at the end of this, he's going to start. Come on. 2 more hits. Outstanding. So he gets 3 hits. But at the end of this, he loses 2 hope as he starts to cry his eyes out, tears falling down his cheeks as he finishes the last words about his sister and his love for her, and how that was taken away from him, and how we need to move forwards with our lives and not be held back from the pain of the past. And that's the reason why he's on this journey, to release himself from that pain and allow himself to move forward. And with those words, the gang members decide that they've had enough, pack up and leave, and we get a slow montage scene of them all leaving the bar in the morning, realising Molly's not there and she's in the back of the car with the dog. Kurt will hug the dog. We'll see a scene of Kurt hugging the dog, and the dog licking around Kurt's face and licking the tears from Kurt's face, we then have Don collecting the surfboard from the TJs, putting it in the back of the car, and the closing shot is the car leaving LA with, this part of their stop finished, and they move on towards their next part of the journey, which is leaving LA on whatever the day is now. We'll lose track of days. I don't think days are important to us. With a short scene cutting back to the bar with the owner putting up a permanently closed sign on the front of the bar, because basically all the money's gone. The money's gone. He's an old man. He looks battered. He got into the fight and he looks like he's hurt and the bar is closed. So a closed down or a foreclosure sign up on the bar, and the car moves out of LA, and then we see them heading on a sign with a distance toward probably Santa Clarita, I don't know, out of LA, and towards the north, where they will do next session. We will have them have a mid stop, and then we'll work out where we stop next, probably at the Air Force Base. I'll probably show those on the map just now. Thank you very much. We'll end that there. We'll end that there as they leave LA. Thank you very much. That was the Electric State. We will continue next week. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, do consider subscribing, and we continue with this exquisite storytelling that we like to do. Thank you very much to the Adventurers Guild for your support. If you would like to support, you can join the Adventurers Guild. There's plenty of space for you. And beyond that, have a humongous good time creating your own stories, solo role-playing or group role-playing. Just create, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye-bye.